Welcome to True Health Tuesday, and the truth will set you free. Now, this has been a subject that keeps coming up, and month after month after month, so we're going to get into it big time. Meat versus veggies. Let's compare a scientific comparison of the carnivore diet versus the vegan diet. Now, section 1, what can our bodies digest? Now, are humans designed to eat meat, plants, or both? To answer this question, we need to understand how our digestive system processes different types of food. The human digestive tract is unique characteristics that have revealed our evolutionary dietary adaptive responses. Now, we're comparing protein digestion and bioavailability because it's not just what you take in, it's what you can utilize. Gut anatomy, evolution, fiber and carbohydrate processing, nutrient absorption efficiency. Next, we'll examine the science of human digestion. Now, when you look at our digestion, we are an omnivore design. Now, the digestive tract is intermediate between carnivores and herbivores. Our stomach acid is 1.5 to 3.5 pH. Like carnivores, it's suitable for breaking down proteins. The small intestine, you're looking at 20 feet long, optimized for nutrient absorption from diverse sources. Now, the large intestine is more complex than carnivores, and that's the biggest difference, but it's simpler than pure herbivores. Now, what are the environmental or evolutionary adaptations? Well, reduced fermentation capacity compared to great apes. We have a flexible gut structure supporting dietary variety. Our microbiome composition reflects omnivore evolution. Enzyme production suited for both plant and animal foods. And you look at the human digestive anatomy, reflects millions of years of omnivore eating. That means everything. Now, please like this video, subscribe to our channel. It's going to help us grow and help to spread this vital, life-saving information. Now, digesting plant-based foods, fiber, nutrients, gut microbiome. Fiber processing, hugely important because your digestive tract is a muscular tube. Now, the dietary of fiber resists digestion in the small intestine. Fermentation occurs in the large intestine by gut bacteria. Now, this produces essential short-chain fatty acids with health benefits, recommended 25 to 30 grams per day of fiber. And so fiber is essential. Now, the plant nutrient bioavailability, when you're looking at vitamin C, 76% is bioavailable from plant sources. Plant carotenoids, vitamin A precursor, 15.6% bioavailable. Non-heme iron from plants, 20 to 20% absorption rate. Zinc absorption is reduced by phylates in grains and legumes. And the mechanism, soluble fibers forms viscous gels that slow gastric emptying, and then the short-chain fatty acids provide anti-inflammatory, metabolic benefits, and enhanced vitamin C absorption efficiency on low-carb diets. It's a brilliant system. Now, digesting animal-based foods, you're looking at high bioavailability and complete proteins. Now, ideally, digestible 90 to 98% for meat and dairy. Now, the DIAS scores, often above 100%, like milk, 114%, eggs, 113%, faster absorption kinetics, and higher solubility. Complete amino acid profiles in balanced proportions. That's the advantages. Now, superior nutrient bioavailability. When you're looking at B12, 65% bioavailable, which is negligible in plants. Perform vitamin A retinol is 74% bioavailable. So it's not just what you take in, it's what you're able to absorb. Now, the heme iron, 15 to 35% absorption versus 2 to 20% from plant irons. Zinc, 20 to 40% absorption from meat. And animal protein elicit a stronger muscle protein synthesis due to the higher leucine content. Faster digestion leads to more rapid amino acid availability for tissue repair and growth. is one of the reasons we recommend certain carnivore diets when somebody is in a stress state. Now, let's look at the comparison between plant and animal foods and protein digestibility. While humans can digest both plant and animal foods, the efficiency and bioavailability vary significantly. When you're looking at milk and egg proteins, fantastic absorption. Now, the key with this is why when you're looking at it, there's no vegan cultures on the planet, but there are tons of vegetarian cultures on the planet that utilize dairy and eggs. Meat protein, huge availability. Legume, grains, also fantastic. And when we look at the nutrient bioavailability comparison for plants, B12, vitamin A, you're looking at iron, there's going to be zinc, all of these things are lower in comparison. Now, when the expert opinions, and I love this, what medical professionals say, Washington Post, animal proteins are easy to absorb, while plant-based diets correlate with lower risks of heart disease, diabetes, attributed to the higher fiber and lower saturated fat content. According to the human gut microbiome evolution, human digestive anatomy is intermediate between carnivores and herbivores, reflecting omnivore evolution. The gut structure supports flexible diets, but also shows evolutionary shifts towards reduced fermentation capacity compared to great apes. And then according to the research consensus on food quality, while organic produce may offer slight nutritional edges, differences are inconsistent and influenced by multiple factors. Consumers should prioritize overall fruit and vegetable intake for health benefits. Is it? So humans are well adapted to digest both plant and animal foods with varying efficiencies for different nutrients, because it's not what you're taking in, it's what's bioavailable and what you can absorb. Now, we are designed to digest both. Our digestive system is adapted for animals and plant foods. Now, we have an intermediate anatomy, a gut anatomy between carnivores and herbivores. Fiber processing, our microbiome is capable of fermenting plant fibers, and that can create a huge number of B vitamins. High acidity, the high stomach acid helps break down proteins, because that's the only way you're able to get the amino acids from that protein. And diverse enzymes. Enzymes are suitable for diverse food sources. Now, humans show traits of both carnivores and herbivores, resulting in an omnivore evolution. The key is which diet is better. Can we thrive on an all meat or all plant diet? Since humans can digest both, which leads to better health outcomes? We'll examine scientific evidence from clinical trials and long-term studies to find out. So let's look at the data. Now, we'll compare long-term health outcomes from major studies: cardiovascular disease risk, diabetes prevention and management. I figured the majority, 95% of all diabetics, are type 2, and that's correctable with nutrition. Except nutritional completeness and deficiencies, and expert medical opinions and warnings. Now, when we look at the vegan diet health outcomes, cardiovascular and metabolic benefits, when you're looking at a 22% reduced risk of heart disease, lower incidence of type 2 diabetes. The Stanford Twin study showed significant LDL cholesterol reduction in 8 weeks and cardiovascular improvements in identical twins. Diabetes management, incredible. You're looking at improved glycemic control, insulin sensitivity is reduced, reduced need for medication. And when you look, vegetarians show half the risk of developing type 2 diabetes versus non-vegetarians. Now, the vegan diet health outcomes, according to Dr. Michael Greger, evidence-based approach for chronic disease and prevention. Look at Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. Low-fat vegan diets can prevent and treat cardiovascular issues. Neil Bernard focused on diabetes and heart disease management through plant-based nutrition. Brilliant. When you're looking at cancer reduction risk, potential lower risk for colorectal and prostate cancers, Bioactive compounds, you're talking about flavonoids, carotenoids, may contribute to anti-carcinogenic effects, beneficial influence over lifestyles beyond diet alone. Now, the mechanism of action of that vegan diet, it lowers your body mass index or BMI, reducing disease risk, reduces LDL cholesterol levels, improves blood pressure regulation, high fiber intake, supports gut health, and antioxidant-rich plant compounds. Amazing. A well-planned vegan diet's a careful attention to supplementation and protein combining. This is hugely important. Now, the carnivore diet health outcomes. And this was a great study, 2021, 2,029 people, medium range for 14 months. 98% satisfaction rate, which interesting is the body mass index reduced from 27.2 to 24.3. Diabetes management improved, 98%. That's huge. 84 to 100% reduced in medication use. Glycinated hemoglobin, median decreased 0.4%. Gastrointestinal issues improved 97% of the time. And you're looking at overall health, diabetes, gastrointestinal issues, satisfaction, hugely important. Now, what are the warnings of all of these benefits from the experts? And I know you got to look at the experts. Okay, for one, they're concerned about the elevated LDL cholesterol levels observed. Now, high saturated fat intake can raise heart disease risk, but are they looking at healthy fats or healthy animals? Long-term cardiovascular impact is unknown. We got to look at more long-term studies. Now, study limitations. Evidence relies on self-reported surveys, big study limitation, selection bias from pro-carnivore communities, and lack of controlled long-term trials. Now, the additional risk factors are increased risk of kidney stones, gout, potential deficiencies in nutrient, vitamins, and minerals, and complete absence of dietary fiber. Now, according to Dr. Willett, Harvard School of Public Health, a terrible idea due to deficiencies in fiber and carotenoids and polyphenols. According to Howard E. Lewine, warns of kidney stones and gout and osteoporosis. Now, the medical consensus is the diet's restrictive nature is unsustainable due to long-term use, especially for vulnerable groups. Now, when we look at the nutritional complete list comparatives, carnivore diet, adequate nutrients, you're looking at B12, high bioavailability. Without B12, you can't utilize most of the B vitamins, and this is essential for a healthy nervous system. In the adequate in a carnivore diet, you're looking at complete amino acids, high digestibility, high absorption of the iron, zinc, selenium, and perform vitamin A. Fantastic. When you're looking at deficiencies of the carnivore diet, deficient in vitamin C, E, and K, deficiency in magnesium and calcium, deficiencies in folate and biotin, complete absence of dietary fiber. Now, when you're looking at the vegan diet, adequate nutrients of vitamin C, K, and folate, dietary fiber is fantastic in a vegan diet. Phytochemicals, magnesium, potassium. But then what are the deficiencies of the vegan diet? B12, that's why they need B vitamin, B12 supplements. Incomplete amino acids. Iron and zinc are low. Calcium, vitamin D, and iodine. Omega-3s, EPA and DHEA. All these are nutrient deficiencies in that. So it is vital that if you're on a carnivore diet, that you supplement with vitamin C and some type of fiber. And it's essential if you're on a vegan diet to B12 supplementation, considered vitamin D, iron, omega-3, algae-based would be okay on that, calcium for adequacy. Now, what are the potential deficiencies and the health risks of both diets? So let's compare it. Number one, health impact, vitamin C deficiency. Now, you would need at least 1,000 grams of fresh meat or organ meats daily. Now, fiber absence, you're looking at no biome support. And so you have the fatty acid production reduced. You're looking at oxidative stress, reduced antioxidant production from vitamin E deficiency, folate deficiency, potential anemia, neural tube defects for pregnant women, high LDL-C, which has cardiovascular concerns, kidney stress, increased risk of kidney stones from the high protein, bone health, osteoporosis from dietary and acid overload. Now, what are the vegan diet risks? B12 deficiency, you're looking at 52% deficiency rate. In this case, has neurologic, hematologic issues. Iron deficiency, lower absorption from plants, 2 to 20%. So you got an increased anemia risk, especially in women. Calcium and vitamin D deficiencies, 43% increased risk of fractures versus meat eaters. Incomplete proteins and lower DIAS scores, 45 to 75, requiring complementation. You've got to add some proteins. Zinc deficiency, reduced phthalates, and this could affect immune system and growth impacts. Omega-3s, EPA, DHA. Plant sources lack performed EPA and DHA. Stroke risk, 20% higher in hemorrhagic stroke, according to the EPIC Oxford study. Mental health, higher depression, anxiety prevalence due to deficiencies. So both extremes, this is the takeaway, both extremes have nutritional deficiencies. So what's the strong evidence? Oh, we get a mixed picture. Vegan, strong long-term evidence, reduced heart disease, diabetes risk, lower overall mortality in long studies, well-supported peer-reviewed trials, but it does require B12 supplementation. Vegan diets are backed by decades of data. Carnivore diets, the evidence is anecdotal and lacks rigorous studies. Now, the carnivore diet, limited evidence is of high concern, but there is a high satisfaction rate reported in self-surveys. And I see a lot of benefits in my patients. Reports of short-term metabolic improvement, lacks long-term controlled clinical trials, risk nutrient deficiencies, and high LDL-C. Expert warning, both extreme risk deficiencies and require medical monitoring for long-term use. Absolutely. Now, the key is these studies don't really look at the impact or the quality of our food. Doesn't matter if the meat is from a factory farm or pasture raised. Does the vegetables matter if it's organic or conventional? Now, most dietary research does not distinguish between these two food qualities. Now, like if you're specifically looking at grass-fed versus concentrated animal feeding operations, organic versus conventional produce, this varies widely. Now, so let's investigate this. The concentrated animal feeding operations versus pasture raised. Let's look at conventional versus organic produce. Let's look at the nutritional and health differences and the scientific evidence on the quality. This is huge. The quality of your food matters. Now, the biggest problem with dietary research is quality. Number one problem, unidentified food sources. Most groups are broken down into meat eaters or vegetarian without specifying what kind of meat they're getting or what kind of vegetables they're getting. Now, this creates a massive confounding variables that obscure the true effects of the diet. Now, problem two, nutrient variability ignored. Foods in the same category has vastly different nutritional profiles, such as grass-fed beef has 2 to 6 times more omega-3s than the grain-fed. When you're looking at self-reported data limitations, research relies on self-reported data, but participants rarely know or accurately recall food quality details. Okay, you've got to look at the quality of the food. When you compare the animal products from the concentrated animal feeding operations versus grass-fed and pasture-raised. The nutrient is completely different. When you're looking at grass-fed advantages, 2 to 6 times more omega-3s than their grain-fed counterparts. Better fat ratio, omega-6 to omega-3. You're looking at 2 to 1 versus 7 to 1. That high omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is not good for your system. You're looking at conjugated linoleic acid, anti-inflammatory. You're looking at 2 to 4 times more in the healthy animals versus the sick animals. Higher vitamin uptake, 3 times more vitamin E and 9 times more niacin. Absolutely essential. When you're looking at health impacts, better omega-3 ratios, reduce inflammation. That means inflammation can work to regenerate the tissue. Higher antioxidant content provides cellular protection. And you're looking at 25% daily omega-3 needs per 100 grams. You got to figure elevated omega-3s in pasture-raised meat is linked to reduced inflammation and improved cardiovascular outcomes. Would that have changed the data? Absolutely, it would have. When we're looking at plant quality comparison, again, hugely important. When you're looking at organic fruits and vegetables, deliver 20 to 40% more antioxidants, potential offering protective effects against chronic disease. The advantage of organic produce versus conventional ones. Higher antioxidant content, 20 to 40% higher. Phenolic compounds, higher concentration of flavonoids and anthocyanins. Vitamins and minerals offer higher vitamin C and E and key minerals organic compared to conventional. Pesticide residue, 4 times lower frequencies of residue, and 48% lower calcium in the conventionally grown. And the study limitations, again, they're not looking at the source of the food. This varies significantly by crop, soil, climate, storage. The nutrient advantages are not consistent across all of studies. A major review found significant differences in 29% of the comparisons. While organic shows higher levels of specific antioxidants, the overall nutritional deficiencies are small and inconsistent. Look at the food quality impact, meat quality impact. You're looking at grass-fed meats have 2 to 6 times more omega-3s, less omega-6 ratios, reducing inflammation, protective compounds in quality animal products, contain 2 to 4 times more CLA and 3 times more vitamin E, again, offering that anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefit and enhanced nutrient density. Higher B vitamins, up to 9 times more niacin, key micronutrients, beneficial phytochemicals from healthy animals that pasture raise. It makes a huge difference. And what about plant quality? If you're going to compare the vegan diets, organic produce averages 20 to 40% more antioxidants, phytonutrients, protecting against chronic disease, lower toxin exposures. You're looking at significantly lower levels of cadmium, 48% reduced, pesticide residue, 4 times reduced, reducing that overall toxic load. The differences can be modest and inconsistent. Overall diet processing and storage are often more impactful. You've got to look at the quality of the food that you take in your system. And I tell everybody, you're blessed with a hunter-gatherer body. Your diet should be like your great-great-grandparents. What did they do? Well, they ate nothing but healthy animals. They ate seasonal plants. They ate, if it was preserved, it was fermented or sun-dried. And that's the 10,000 generations that preceded you. So the quality matters. When you're looking at grass-fed beef, the huge omega-3 profile, way better than grain-fed. And this is a significant impact in health. The plant quality, the differences are real. Organic produce shows more antioxidant and fewer pesticides. Remember, pesticides, the majority of them are estrogen-based. However, intake volume is often more of a critical factor for health. Most dietary studies don't control for food quality, and this lack of control confounds variables in research. So research, it's good, it's helpful, it's a guide, but it's not chiseled in stone. So the downsides, a balanced approach is the best. Both extreme diets have significant drawbacks when followed long term. A vegan diet shows long-term benefits but needs supplements. Carnivore diet lacks robust estimates, but the extremes risk nutritional gaps and compromise completeness. Is there a better way? After looking at all of the science, yes, there is a better way. The Mediterranean diet, time-tested, balanced, combining plant and animal foods. So let's explore a summary of the carnivore diet's downside, a summary of the vegan diet's downside. Let's introduce the Mediterranean diet, scientific evidence again. And so what's the robust scientific support of this Mediterranean diet? Well, you have an high intake of fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, and olive oil, moderate intake of fish, poultry, dairy, low intake of red meat or processed foods. The big thing there is the processed foods. Now, what's the evidence? Well, you get a 30% lower risk of major cardiovascular events, diabetes prevention, 52% lowering the risk of diabetes type 2, cognitive health. Okay, so you're looking at reduced risk of dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's, and longevity. 23% lower all-cause mortality in 25-year follow-ups. So you're looking at good, healthy, long-term studies. When you're looking at landmark studies, 30% reduction in cardiovascular events, 70% reduction in recurrent heart events, lower heart disease, lower cancer, and lower neurodegenerative conditions by getting the right nutrients in the system. So what's the conclusion of all of this? Well, number one, omnivore diets design. Humans are adapted to digest both plant and animal foods with varying nutrient efficiencies. The diet comparison, you're looking at vegan diets show cardiovascular benefits but need vitamin B12 supplements. Carnivore diets have limited evidence and deficiency risks. The food quality is the key. Grass-fed meats, organic produce offer significant nutritional advantages over conventional options. Balanced approach. The Mediterranean diet shows robust long-term benefits for reducing chronic disease. Absolutely it does. Recommendations. Avoid dietary extremes. You got 10,000 generations that preceded you. Let's follow their example. Follow the Mediterranean principles. Focus on whole, minimally processed foods. Prioritize food quality. Monitor extreme diets carefully. A balanced whole food diet combining healthy organic plants, healthy animal sources offers a more comprehensive nutritional support than extreme restrictive diets. Your path forward, you've got to consider your health goals, food access, and sustainability. I encourage you, we have a brilliant ebook that compares all of the data, all the science between meat and veggies. And exclusive to our members. I encourage you to become a member today, to go to adaptivephysiology.com. It has all of the data that we covered, but also the great details of the studies that you could share. So get to adaptivephysiology.com, become a member, and get this ebook. It is vital. So create a free account, and this gives you exclusive access to our articles, videos, everything. And what we offer on the site, articles, videos, books, apprenticeship, counseling, in-person training, video courses. It is a great site. And then we go into adjusting techniques for not just doctors and healthcare professionals, but parents. We go over anatomy and physiology so you know how the body works, how to reverse the disease process. I cover multiple case studies so you can know if you're a healthcare professional or someone suffering, how to get better, in employee training. When we go over the 5 keys to health, we talk about proper nerve supply, exercise, nutrition, which is huge because if you're taking in nutrients and you don't get the bioavailability, you don't get the nutrients, or if there's toxic substances in those food sources, because if it's been exposed to pesticides or antibiotics, those can have a negative impact. So what you eat becomes you, then sufficient rest so that your body can regenerate and utilize those nutrients, and then prayer and meditation. You've got to have a good mental attitude, physical, chemical, emotional stress. The 5 keys to health matter. Now, please post your comments and questions down below. We're going to get to as many as we can. And just get those comments out and spread this life-saving, world-changing information, and sign up for our channel. It's going to help us grow. And please get those comments in here as soon as you can, and we'll get to as many as we can next week. God bless you all. This is, hopefully it answered a lot of questions. The planet was made for you, and you were made for the planet. God bless you all.